Welcome back to the Lords of Lore podcast. I'm Matt,
I'm Taleb.
and we are here to talk about Chapter 6 of the Book of Boba Fett. Yo!
Crazy.
Yo!
Some crazy stuff.
Yo, this was, oh my gosh, from start to finish. I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. And then it just kept getting elevated and elevated. I was like, yo, I'm going to just say this right off the top, full spoiler territory. If you don't want spoilers of this show, avoid this, bookmark it, put a like, come back when you got time. We're going to get, deep into this. Yo, as soon as I saw the silhouette with the cowboy hat, I thought of you because I was like, man, you called it. You called it. And I was like, no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way, bro. Well, yeah.
I did indeed call it.
So much to get to. So let's start at the top here. We get Mando coming into Tatooine and where does he start? He heads to the planet first, right?
Or I think it was we start where it left off last time with him talking to Fennec.
Right.
And he said like it's on the house or something. I just gotta meet a little friend.
Yes, that's
and
right.
Then we're like, yo, is he actually just gonna go see?
Yeah.
We're gonna see Grogu this episode.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as he shows up and immediately you see R2, I was like, whoa, no way. Like, it's fucking R2. And then I was like, man, where's this going? And then obviously like start to put together the pieces. You know what I will say I thought was weird? Those fucking spider droids that are building the temple. I'm like, this guy, like, he could use the force. Like, it feels like something he would want to do himself.
Yeah.
Brick by brick. As like, I don't know. It was weird.
I guess he's like being efficient now or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was the one thing I was like, this is cool as fuck. But I'm like, yeah, I did not expect this out of Luke. Luke was there.
Yeah, Luke was there. What do you think of the deep fake this time?
So fucking good.
Yeah.
It's so much better than last time.
Way better.
I was looking at it. I was like in awe. I was like, this looks so when he talks, there's a little bit of a delay at some points.
Yeah.
Like
just a little bit.
Yeah, the vocal like movements aren't 100%, but they're like 90.
Yeah.
But the face, like just appearance wise, is like 98%. Yeah. No uncanny valley.
I agree.
I was like, wow. And it jumped straight to that scene of him and Grogu. And obviously like the frog jumps by.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he's going to go for it. And sure enough, he does. But then to see Luke just like levitate all those frogs out of the pond, I was like, damn. I thought that was kind of weird too. Cause I was like, you're showing Grogu like, it's like this power can be yours too if you just focus. I'm like, that feels very Sith-like to like hold power over someone's head, Yeah.
But
and then I was not at all like, I guess, do you have any more thoughts about just seeing Luke and Grogu like doing this sort of training montage and all that?
It was pretty cool. Pretty nice to watch.
Yeah. I love how it's sort of like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And obviously like we get him like in the same backpack that he carried Yoda in. That was so awesome.
Yeah. Also, I really liked the score. It was like it was just so nice.
There was a few notes that had like a sinister vibe to them. I don't know if you picked up on this. I think it was like
I didn't.
Towards the end where he's sitting facing Grogu. There was like a little like dark tone that I was like, oh shit, what are they trying to do here? Like I can't remember what scene specifically, but I remember like the serene sort of picturesque background and then that dark tone like threw me off. I was like, whoa. Yeah, so we'll have to look out for that. Also, this episode put to bed a theory that I've had in my own headcanon for like decades.
Really?
Where, between episode 5 and 6, there's not a lot for canon material. At least there wasn't recently, I guess. I'm not sure if that's changed in the last couple of years or so, but
yeah,
I always had it in my head that after Luke's lightsaber gets destroyed, or he loses it in Bespin, that he has to make his own lightsaber. There's a deleted scene from Return of the Jedi where you see him put it together, but we never see how he gets his crystal. And so in my head canon was always that he took Yoda's lightsaber and took the green crystal out of it, and that's why his lightsaber's green. So like and no canon has ever like disproven that up until now. And I'm like, damn. That would have been so cool. Because obviously we see Yoda's lightsaber in this episode. That was like before he even said it, I was like, yo, the size and the shape. I was like, I know that lightsaber. Yeah, so much to get through this episode, but obviously we see Ahsoka come in too. This scene was something I've been waiting for since Mandalorian season 2, where she mentions Luke, obviously. And you know, I always thought it was weird, like that they don't mention that relationship, and that like your dad trained me and was my best friend, and you know, whatever happened to Anakin happened to him. And to in this episode to get that conversation of like, I'm a friend of the family and you're so much like your dad. And it was just so like sad to watch. Because I don't know. What were your thoughts on seeing that relationship sort of play out for the first time?
I mean, I was like so excited to just see them talk about that. And like it's also kind of weird because Ahsoka is older than him.
Yes.
And for some reason, like you would think that Ahsoka's younger or something. So, but seeing that relationship was interesting. I kind of wish they talked more about it. But I think they did it pretty well.
I think it's just because we have so much content of Ahsoka as a kid. And then obviously her relationship with Anakin in the Clone Wars is so much like he's like almost like a father figure to her, or like an older brother. And then like we get a little bit of her in Rebels where she's older. And then obviously what we got in Mandalorian. But for me, I still like yearn for that Ahsoka Anakin reuniting. Not like, because the next time she sees him is when he's Vader. And they have that showdown in Rebels, right? So it's like, oh man, seeing her with Luke just like pulled on my heartstrings, because I'm like, there's like an alternate universe where she's just like anti-Ahsoka and Anakin's still like, you know, Anakin and not Vader. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and obviously like she leaves in this episode and he's like, will I see you again? And she's like, you might, you know. And I'm just like, oh no, stay, be friends, be a family forever. Yeah, I guess I wanted to get your thoughts also too, though. Like, what do you think about seeing Luke in this era? Like, you know, because we know obviously with the original trilogy where he's coming from, and then we know how he ends up in the sequel trilogy. So what are your sort of thoughts and feelings on seeing him as, you know, Jedi Master Luke in this setting?
I think I like it. I think like this is what people wanted to see. I think we wanted to see Luke be like just sharing his knowledge.
Right.
And like after seeing all that he's been through, seeing his journey, it's kind of nice to see him post war. Doing his thing, doing probably what he wants.
Yeah. Really like trying to like revive the Jedi Order. I have mixed feelings about it, because like anytime I've seen him in this era, I'm always like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like I've always wanted to see what the next steps for Luke were. But then at the same time, knowing where he's at by the time we see him again in episode 7 and 8, I'm like, I don't know. I just always feel like there's going to be such a disconnect between what we want out of Luke and what he is in this era, and then what he ultimately becomes. Just feels like such a departure. Do you know what I mean? And so what now I really think like I need to have like closure in that situation is to see he and like Ben, like if they, I don't know how they would deep fake that. That sounds like a lot of money, but like having like a young Ben Solo and Luke, and really seeing what that relationship was like and why it like affected him so heavily. Which also leads to the next thing I was going to bring up. I really don't like messing in this era, because we already know what happens. So we know all the Jedi Luke trains eventually die. We know Ahsoka eventually dies and becomes one with the Force, because we hear her in Rey's sort of "I'm all the Jedi"
vision.
Force echo thing. So I like it sucks, because I'm like, even if I really get attached to these characters, I know where they end up. So like the suspense of seeing their journey play out is lessened because I'm like, I know at some point. But then at the end of this episode, I was like, oh shit, Grogu might not be one of those people who gets chopped up.
Yeah.
You know, he might be one of the few survivors. So like I'm interested to see that. But then I feel like we're getting to the same thing with Ahsoka, because like it was like, you know, at one point seeing Ahsoka, I would have said the same thing. Like, we know she gets killed in the Jedi Purge, so what's the point of getting attached to this character? And then, you know, as the new canon is played out, we know that's not the case. And so I feel like they might do a similar thing with Grogu, where one day we might see, you know, Daisy Ridley's Rey and John Boyega's Finn have an interaction with Grogu, who somehow staved off assassination by the hands of Ben Solo type of thing. So I think there's room, like some wiggle room there to retcon a little bit, but it always sort of makes me nervous because I'm like, oh, I hate when we go back and like, it's the one exception. It's like Kanan Jarrus, he's the last Padawan, but also Ahsoka survived, and there's Cal Kestis and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's like, okay, well, how bad was the Jedi Purge really, you know? But anyways, I'm rambling. Let's move back onto Tatooine. So we obviously get that opening scene with Cobb Vanth. The think it through scene. What were your thoughts on this?
Just right off the bat, I thought they made him a lot cooler this time around.
Yeah.
He was really cool.
The armor wasn't swallowing him this time. Yeah. It really sold him to me as like a cowboy type character, you know? Really gave him that Western feel. And just the simple think it through line, and then they, you know, try to come at him, shoots 3 of them down, and then the last guy, he's like, I'm gonna repeat myself, you know. But what were your thoughts on sort of how he interacted with the Pikes, and then what he ultimately does with their spice?
I think it kind of shows a lot about his character. Since we last seen him, seems like he kind of almost, actually to me, it seems like he's kind of a little too comfortable in a way. Because especially with the altercation, or not the altercation, the combo he has with Mando later on, seems like him and the town kind of are on the same wavelength, where they're just very comfortable. They fought, they kind of just chilled out, and they're doing their thing. And I don't know. What do you think?
I didn't think of it that way, but that's actually a really good point. Like, if he takes that spice from that opening scene, maybe, you know, he has the ability to arm the town and make them stronger, but he wants to keep like the peace that they have. And so he decides not to. But ultimately, I think, like you're saying, that's probably a mistake, because where we see things go right after that conversation with Mando, what a moment. And I never look who directs the episode before I watch it. I like to just be surprised and like, you know, hold any sort of judgment I might have or bias for one director. But as soon as I saw the silhouette in the distance, I was like, oh shit, this is a Dave Filoni episode. Let's go. I should have known with Ahsoka, but this was like the real moment. I was like, oh shit, yes. So yeah, what were your thoughts immediately when you saw Cad Bane show up?
Well, first I was like, I think I might know who this is.
Yeah.
And then as he got closer, I was like, okay, this is Cad Bane. And then, they did him so well. Holy.
Everything about him is perfect.
Like
I was shocked.
And they made him like scary.
Yeah, like with the jagged
savage.
teeth, like straight. Oh, and the voice is so calm, and it's put through like a vocal box of some sort. I think to highlight his like the tubes that are connected to him.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really cool. Like so chilling. Oh man, that scene was as soon as I saw the silhouette, I was like instantly Leo DiCaprio again. Yeah. And then to see him actually show up and like have dialogue, I was like, there's no way I'm actually seeing this in person. But you know, I guess we shouldn't be as surprised, because Duros were, you know, originally in the original Star Wars and then animated. I get more anxious about, you know, races that we've only seen as animated things than being, you know, given the live action adaptation. But wow, I was shocked by how good he looked.
Yeah.
And when the cap comes up and we see his eyes, I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker is scary, man.
Yeah, you could even see the fear portrayed so well in like the
Like
other
the
two
deputy.
guys.
Yeah,
The deputy guy, which was really annoying, by the way.
yeah. Yeah. And I like at first I was just like, man, this guy's annoying. And then as it builds towards this scene, I was like, oh, they were setting it up for just this moment. Like,
Yeah.
this guy's a little bit, anxious or like, quick to jump the gun, and then sure enough. And the thing I loved about that scene is like it shows like the coldness of Cad Bane, because he sees this guy like itching and like sweating and starting to get like antsy, and his response is to not just shoot him once, but he's like unloads the whole clip into him. I was like, damn, like no mercy at all. But what do you think's gonna happen? You think Cobb Vanth's gonna be okay?
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. They seem to like really make a note of showing that people come to him and like put the med pack on him.
Yeah. That kind of made me assured that like he's probably fine, because I was surprised how much I liked him like in this episode.
Yeah.
And the last time we seen him, I didn't like him too much, I'm gonna be honest. But I don't know, his character is just so nice now.
Yeah. I was like, Cobb Vanth to me is like a weird character, because obviously he shows up first in the Aftermath novel, and it was sort of a bigger deal than maybe it was at the time now, because at the time he was like the first mention we got of anything Boba Fett post Return of the Jedi in the new canon was, Cobb Vanth comes across not scorched, but pockmarked Mandalorian suit of armor in the desert of Tatooine, and he gets it from some Jawas or something, and then he begins to become the marshal, and so there's a few scenes from that book that sort of highlight his character, but he feels like the Ranger sort of gunslinger character, and then the first time we see him Mandalorian season 2, I was sort of on your side, where like, hey, he's just a guy. Yeah, I'm not very interested. But seeing him, interact with the Pikes for me was like the big, like, oh, this is a fun character. Like, he's like, maybe I'll retire,
Yeah.
I love that line.
That was a good line.
But yeah, I think it's so cool now to see, like, obviously we got Din Djarin, we got Boba Fett, we got Black Chrysanthemum, we got Fennec Shand, but on the other side now, we have Cad Bane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are there other notable bounty hunters that might show up for the other side as well? Because now we're getting into like the rogues gallery of bounty hunters, right?
Yeah.
And I love the line Cad Bane had, where he's like, Boba Fett was a hired assassin or a paid gun for the Empire. And it really puts it into perspective. Like, he absolutely was. He did stuff for Vader all the time, like in the comics and, in the original films. It's like, when you put it in that light, is like, is this the guy we want to get behind? The guy who, sold out to the Empire? I don't know where Cad Bane's loyalties were during that time, but certainly it's a good sort of point to make against Boba Fett. Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, who's going to take whose sides here? Seems like Cobb Vanth will probably fall in line with Boba Fett after being shot by this guy, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen in the season finale, or what do you think they're setting up for in subsequent seasons?
Do you think there will be a second season for Book of Boba Fett?
I would imagine so. Just unless we wrap things up entirely in the next episode, I would imagine, or it might just be part of Mandalorian season 3. So I wonder how that might play out, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to predict for the next episode. Probably a war is gonna happen.
Yeah,
or a war that they keep talking about. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Like, predict. Yeah, like I think like they've set it up in the way where they can go like either way, because we're in this era where like things are sort of up in the air. Like, it doesn't have to end a certain way. So I feel like maybe the Boba Fett side will just be completely like annihilated, and that'll set up, an arc for the next season or whatever the case may be. Because I feel like now, like, it's been 2 episodes since we've even really heard from Boba. We got like one scene with him in this episode. So I feel like maybe there's got to be a little bit more. Like, it'd feel weird to end on a note that's like, now this episode's about Boba Fett again. Whereas like the last 2 episodes have really just been Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, pretty much. We haven't seen him in a minute, actually.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how it'll wrap up. I'm not complaining at all about the Mandalorian heaviness of these last 2 episodes, because I'm loving it, but it does feel like a bit of a departure from the trajectory they were sort of going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I wonder, I'm not sure who's directing the next episode. Like I said, I don't check, but I might check for the finale just to see, if it's a Dave episode, then I'm expecting huge things.
Yeah.
But if it's anybody else, I'm like, it's really up in the air. Yeah, because I thought when Mando said I might have an answer for that, he was going to call some other Mandos. But then when it showed Cobb Vanth in the next scene, I was like, oh, okay, so we're definitely not going to see Sabine, and I have to start to process that. Take the L on that prediction.
Not seen Sabine anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah.
Especially after that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you even think that's enough people?
No, like their current roster right now, like they got kinda... like they've added a couple more mods. I noticed some mods that weren't there in the previous episodes. They got Black Chrysanthemum, Fennec Shand, like
Mando. Aren't there like a bunch of the Pikes?
Yeah, they have like an army. Yeah. So, I mean, we have a Rancor, I guess. So that's something, but
or maybe they do some like type of mission like in Mandalorian where they just do something.
Yeah. I mean, and Jabba's palace is a pretty defensible spot. So I'm wondering, like, I'm interested to see if it's going to be another one of those episodes where it's like, we train the townsfolk to fight back type of thing. That's like the 4th one. We got 2 in Mando, and then we got the one with the Sand People in Boba Fett. So I wonder if that's going to be the vibe of this one again, but we'll have to see.
Interesting.
Last question for you. Luke presented Grogu with a choice. The chainmail from the Beskar chainmail, which is pretty cool, or Yoda's lightsaber. So I want to ask you, what do you hope he chooses? What do you think he chooses? Or what would you choose?
Oh, this is a hard one. Because we don't even know his fate after. So either he becomes a Jedi, somehow dies when the temple gets destroyed, escapes. So those would be the 2 options for if he was a Jedi, or go back to the Mandalorian. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna go back to the Mandalorian, because that would kind of set the story back into a big weird loop. I think he might be a Jedi for a bit, but I really wish he would go back to the Mandalorian, just personally.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, my thing is like, what, like, if he decides to stay with Luke, how will we know that? Like, is Luke gonna like mail him back the chainmail and be like, he chose, but or are we just never gonna see him again until it shows up like in Ahsoka or some other sort of project? So I'm wondering, like, if he doesn't choose the chainmail, we won't know, and I don't think they would do that. I think if there was a choice presented like that, they'll just let us know what he chose by bringing him back into the show. But I'm like, what role will this guy have in Mando's sort of story now? Because it feels very much like it's shifted to dealing with the Darksaber and, other Mandalorians. So I don't know.
Also, what would his role be with Luke?
Well, I mean, if he stays with Luke, he'll be like the first student, right? And because they're so long lived, like, maybe he's put into a position where eventually he'll be taking over from Luke, what with being his first student, and then being so long lived. He'll be like the next Yoda type of thing. So like I could see like a natural fit there. I would prefer him to stay with Luke, just because like I don't think it's a good move for the Mando. But also like is training someone that old safe for Luke and stuff. So yeah, I don't know what I really want to see. I'm interested to see what he chooses. If I was there, I would choose a lightsaber every time over anything. So what about you? Like if someone came to you right now and was like, you could have this lightsaber or you could have this Beskar chainmail, what are you taking?
I'd probably take the lightsaber.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, well, yeah. Do you have any more thoughts on this episode?
Other than it was just a really good experience, I don't think so.
Right
on. It was a chill episode.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Nice. I love a good Dave episode.
Yeah.
They need to give this guy a whole show. Yeah, I guess that'll do it for us here. Where can people find you online if they want to talk Star Wars or check out your art?
Taleb Shukair on Instagram and T Shukair on Twitter.
Right on. And for people watching, you can check our main show every Tuesday and reviews for Critical Role's Legend of Vox Machina. Those are coming out every Saturday morning, I think. Anyways, check out this show. Follow us on all the social medias. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel for more. And as always, we are the Lords of Lore.